Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in to the training today. So I am Nikki and I run Horseplay Adventures up here in the Highlands of Scotland. For those of you who don't know, I'm an equine behaviourist and I focus on supporting people individually with their horses, but I also run courses and classes, both in person and online, to give owners the information that they need to create a force-free, horse-centred approach to looking after their horses. So today's course is all about introducing a new horse. Now, this is something that I get asked about quite a lot. And it's not a straightforward answer, to be honest, because there's a lot to include. Now, we do have a protocol. So I have created this lovely PDF that runs through the before, during, and after process of introducing a new horse. There are also clickable links in there where you can find out more information. And if you'd like a copy of that PDF, I'll let you know how to get your hands on it at the end of the training. So there's a set way that you go about it to ensure the highest welfare standards for all horses involved. But there's a much deeper level than this. Yes, we need to run through those key components, but what we also need to do is be aware of our horse's behaviour, both the one that we're bringing in and the herd at a much deeper level. So we need to evaluate our herd before the newcomer comes, and after they've been introduced, all the way through this process. How well are their ethological needs being met? Now, if you're not completely sure how to do this, how to evaluate that, I can give you information on how you might be able to find out more later on. The other thing you need to be really aware of is what is the resource holding potential of the individual members in your herd, and have you got everything in place that support that? Now, resource holding potential, or RHP, is the way that herds organise themselves. They don't have a linear hierarchy, they don't base it on a dominance structure, they base it on resource holding potential. So the ability of one horse to hold on to a resource over another. And it's a very complex network of behaviours and it's influenced by a lot of different areas. And again, we can look at how you would find out more about that in a moment. The next point that we need to be very aware of is history. What baggage, for want of a better word, is your new horse bringing to the herd and already exists within the herd? So with my little herd, when we first introduced Oscar, I knew that he had been on his own for quite a long time. I knew that before that he'd been with a brother who could be quite rough with him, especially around food. I knew that he'd probably been taken off his mum quite early on, bearing in mind that horses weaning, usually in free living herds, they'll stay with their mum up to 2 years. So when we're talking about 4-6 months weaning, it's too early and it has an impact on the foal. I also knew that Bonnie is one of my rescue ponies and she has had a lot of foals historically. Not all of those experiences were pleasant. So bringing in a recently gelded little boy who still had all the hormones and still smelt very stalliony, for her that was going to bring up issues. I was also aware that Pixie, who is Bonnie's daughter, had never met a boy before, especially not a stalliony boy. So that was going to create all kinds of issues. So we were going to have a lot of different things going on in there. And you can see here, he'd met over the fence with these guys and we've gone through our protocols. He met those two first, the Shetlands first, and then the bigger guys, and they went together as a herd. So once they're all together, massive amounts of space, they need to spread out. Remember, horses make friends over a long period of time by decreasing the space between them. And if we put them into smaller spaces where they don't have the opportunities to move away, we're going to trigger aggressive behaviours, defensive behaviours. So recognising the history of your horses, providing them with enough space, understanding their resource holding potential, understanding how they're feeling within their herd are all key components that all come together. It's not one on its own. They have to be jointly considered. The final one is communication. Do you recognise when your horse is showing you signs of stress? Now, sometimes these can be quite overt. You've got high levels of aggressive or defensive behaviours. You've got distancing themselves to keep away as much as possible. But there are also calming and communication signals and displacement behaviours. If we can recognise these tiny signs and communication signals, then we don't get to the big explosive behaviours. We can do something at that level. We can put things in place in the management at that level before it starts to escalate into anything else, making sure that everybody is really safe. Now, once we have a really strong understanding of these 4 key components, and we recognise our horse's motivation, perception, communication, then we can identify when our horses are finding things difficult. So when you're bringing a new horse in, where have they come from? What have they left? Have they just left their mother? Have they just left a pair bond that they've been with for years? Horses, when allowed, will pair bond for life. They make really, really close, tight connections with friends, and they do feel grief. So when we're removing that horse from that environment, are they okay? You're going to have a period of adjustment. You're going to see behaviours that maybe weren't seen before. Maybe the home before was not ideal for them and they've suppressed a lot of behaviours. And then as you start to listen to them and show them that you're listening and respond appropriately, these behaviours all start to come out. And they don't always look great. Or have they come from a beautiful environment and you're changing it so that maybe they're not having as much freedom as they did have, or maybe they're not in such a big herd as they were? How are they feeling about that? So we need to address the fact that there is most likely to be an element of trauma for that horse coming in, and possibly for the herd that they're going into. So listening, being sympathetic, understanding, really getting your knowledge levels up when it comes to recognizing horse behavior, motivation, perception, communication. This is the key. Now, if you feel like you would like to know more about this, if you would like to build your knowledge of horse behavior beyond what we may have learned at riding schools or just day-to-day handling, if you want to delve really deeply into equine behavioural science, then the Horseplay at Home Learning Hub might be a good place for you to join us. Now, it's a learning hub, more than a course now, because it's constantly updated. So every time we have new research, or when I'm finding that members are coming up with similar problems, then I develop that information further. This is not about training your horse. This is about training yourself. It's up-leveling your skills, your professional ability, your understanding, so that we can meet these criteria that are going to come into play in the social license to operate, which is starting to be pushed forward through government initiatives now. Let me show you what is involved. Horseplay at Home, Adventures into the Horse's Mind is a unique online study course combining video lessons, observational videos of our herd out here in the Highlands, and animation, all designed to give you the knowledge, understanding and skills that you need to create a force-free, horse-centered, mutually beneficial relationship with your horse. So people come to us from all over the world to learn the skills that we teach and the way that we work, this force-free, horse-centered approach. Now, they are equine professionals, they are children, they are horse owners, and they all want that deeper, more connected relationship with their animals. Now, I appreciate that getting all the way out here into the middle of nowhere is not an easy feat for everybody. So that's why I've created Horseplay at Home, so we can bring a little bit of the Highlands and our love of ponies to you where you are. The course is packed full of thought-provoking content. There are 10 modules with up to 7 lessons in each. There's a 50-page field guide and journal that you can take out with you to your horse, either digitally or printed off. And in here is a summary of the lesson that you'd have done previously. the recording sheets, and of course your reflection sheets. We're going to dive deeply into these key factors of motivation, perception, and communication, so that by the end of it you'll have a really strong understanding of how the horse's mind works and how we can apply this into our day-to-day lives with our animals. Also embedded within the course are all the activities you need to develop your skills of scientific inquiry. Now, in particular, those of observation and critical analysis. The reason I wanted to put these in is because once we combine these with the knowledge and understanding you'll have of motivation, perception, and communication, you'll be able to become a lifelong student of the horse long after this course is finished. And then you can continue your journey of discovery and share it with others. Now, also to help you along the way on this brilliant voyage of discovery, we have a dedicated community. So in here you can write down any questions you have, any observations, any moments of joy that you'd like to share with us all, and we'll be there to help you out all the way. Now, of course, I think the course is brilliant. It's based on something that I'm deeply passionate about, but I thought it's often better if you hear it from other people as well. So here are just a few of the testimonials we've had over the past couple of years. So if this sounds like something that you might be interested in for your horse or for your business, if you're a professional, then just jump on a call with me. I can take you through exactly what's involved in the course. The best thing we can do for our horse's welfare is to improve our knowledge. There's no point in paying thousands on vets bills and management and feed if we don't have the right information to start with. If we can set them up for success, they're going to have beautiful lives that are really worth living. Just click the link that's in the description. That will take you to a little form to fill in. Just tell me a little bit about yourself. Get the calendar, pick a day that suits you. It's a 45-minute chat, totally free, and we can run through everything from there. Well, I hope that was useful. I hope you found it informative. The PDF is available if you would like it. Just remember to comment below PDF and I'll send that to you. I look forward to chatting to you soon about the course. Have a really lovely snowy day. Bye-bye from the Highlands.